All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year. We are officially in 2025, and I was hoping to get this episode in as the last episode of the year, but so be it. You can see I'm not alone. Well, I should say if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not alone. And that's because here in the new year, we are introducing a new version, our new style of episode in the Sober Witch Life podcast, and that is Magic After Alcohol. So I'm pretty excited about these. As you can see, I'm not alone. These are going to be a little bit longer. They might be live streamed if we're here, and able to do that. So you'll see us both, or they're going to be recorded kind of on site. So we'll see. And
I'm excited for that.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And so because I don't know if anybody of you know this incredibly handsome gentleman here with me, I want to introduce Dan, my partner. And so,
Hello,
Dan,
everybody.
they've heard a whole bunch about me. Why don't you tell them a little bit about you?
Sure. My name's Daniel Layton. I'm Sunshine's partner. I am 7 years sober from alcohol. Started this journey, started painting after that. I'm a painter, I'm a chef. And I met this lovely woman, and we've been together. It'll be going on 4 years here in a minute. It's hard to believe, but yeah, we started this, sharing this sober journey together, and it's been very beautiful. And we had this idea to, we kind of talked about when you stop drinking, what do I do now? Like, was always going to the bar, and everything was wrapped up in that, and going to parties and all these things. And a lot of people, what do I do now, after you're done? And so we had this idea of kind of talking about all that, and going off site and going to some places that we like to go to. And yeah, doing some live streams even from on site. So I'm very excited to be joining now, and yeah, we're gonna see where it goes.
Me too. Dan, I know, gosh, I have no idea if you guys can hear that. We record in the basement, and the cat's litter boxes are down here. And the big guy is
He's taking a magical
yeah. So how embarrassing on that one. Yeah, Dan.
He waited too. He waited.
He did. He's probably waited all day for that.
Yep.
Um,
He saw the red light and he's like, okay, it's
on
time.
air. On air.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Dan, I know you don't hang out in all the like sober groups on Facebook that I do, but I can't tell you how often I see that comment that you're saying, like that we've talked about, of, hey, I'm thinking about, stopping, but I don't even know what I would do. Or life is bored. I see this one, and I've seen that a lot. Like, life is bored now that I don't drink. And I don't know. To me, that's just a shocking statement, because I know how much kind of magic, fun, and excitement there is. But yeah, I mean, when you were drinking, I'm just curious because, we've had this conversation, but like everything kind of revolved around alcohol in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, in mine in particular, I was especially towards the end, I was I didn't want to be out drinking and driving. So I was home a lot, like a whole lot. I'd get off work and I'd go home and just start drinking after work. And I was essentially a prisoner in my own house because I didn't want to go out and go out and get in trouble or hurt somebody. So I would basically come home and drink and watch TV or do whatever, and then go to sleep or pass out, one of the two. So when I gave alcohol up, I was like, whoa, look at this big world out here. Like, really, I started going to the gym. That's huge right there, just going out. And um, I would do that after work in that time, kind of idle hands. I knew about those idle hands and that boredom. So I started doing that as an outlet. Um, But I saw it as this like opportunity to see the world finally. Like I didn't have to stay at home. I didn't have to worry about that. And I found that very freeing when I quit. I really did. Like,
I I've got this like kind of thought that keeps, popping into mind of, you know, I don't know that I was so much the exact same way, with that, because I did, I still went out. I had a, gentleman that I was dating before you and I started dating, and we would still go do things. He was very much a get me out of the house to go do stuff type of person. And, but for me, it was the needing to moderate or ration the drinking, right? I can only have a beer. I can only have a beer every hour or so. Um, and even though I mean, I'll be real frank, even though I did not want to be drinking and driving, yeah, there were a handful of times where I would think he'd be the individual that
he'd
would
be
be
the driver.
driving, and I'd end up having to drive with, uncomfortable. And I mean, I'm horrified at this thought, horrified now. And
Oh yeah.
and uh
I did too. I mean, I did all that too.
and I'm blessed that I never was hurt. Nobody else was ever hurt, but the stories, I know you never sat at any of any of the tables with AA, but I sat at AA tables. I've talked to a lot of people that not just getting a DUI, you know, um, horrific experiences, including like my niece, Abby. She
Yeah.
was hit by a drunk driver,
Yeah.
you know, and it's horrifying to think that. And so even though I did things, I still, so much of my social life, so much of my life outside of literally my 9 to 5 revolved around alcohol.
Yeah.
And so walking away from it and leaving it, I had to learn how to be in the situations that I still wanted to be in
Hmm.
without alcohol, and had to start to realize how many situations or agreements, yes, I'll go here, yes, I'll meet you there, that I was doing, A, because they served alcohol,
Hmm.
or B, because I didn't have the confidence or the courage to tell someone I didn't want to go,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, that is a very different situation than mine. It's it's kind of a restructuring when you do go out. Like the triggers, you had a lot, must have had a lot more triggers
a lot,
going out.
a lot of triggers. And I mean, even now, like I think about it, there's still certain spots and locations, like we've gone to the movie, that one movie theater I liked.
Hmm.
And, Keith and I, rest in peace, but we would literally go to a matinee. We would end up getting lunch ahead of time. We'd do at least a beer, if not 2 beers and a shot, because the restaurant and
Hmm.
bar was right next to the movie theater,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not gonna lie, like there were times we'd take airplane bottles in with us and
Oh
put them
yeah.
in, in
Oh,
our,
I did that stuff too. Yeah.
and everything, like everything revolved around drinking. And so having to rewrite what life was going to be like. And oddly enough, I find it kind of humorous, I guess, as I'm going to say this, but like I realized I actually liked being in the house a lot more.
Mm.
And you here when
Mine was the opposite.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was breaking the chains by when I quit, I like um I wanted to be out. I want part of it was there was some running involved too, but um running away from emotions and that by being out all the time. But and I was in a not great relationship too, and I was isolating myself too, but I was also enjoying like being out for a change and like and I would just avoid at that stage I wasn't really going to bars and all that. I wasn't before I quit. It was more like sad and in the house drinking and um so it was very nice to be out for me.
I just realized, so there's like these different settings on Zoom, and I
Mhm.
just realized I had one that was only highlighting on me. So wave and say hi.
Oh, I wasn't on the image. Wow.
I mean, you learn things as we go. I'm all about not dealing with worrying about perfection, but yeah, they can see you now. Maybe you could do one of those extreme
They thought I
photos
was the
again.
invisible man, like
Right?
an AI voice or something.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, much different experience for us. And that's why I think I love, you and I being able to do this together now.
Yeah.
And like you do get me out of the house and still get to do stuff, but you're not asking me to do. I'll tell you, I'm very grateful for this. You're never asking me or expecting me to do things that I'm not comfortable doing, or I don't even interest in, or if I am over capacity and I can't handle it, I don't ever feel like a guilt trip or, I don't even really feel the disappointment. I feel the like, oh, I wish you were there, or I wish
Yeah.
you, but I don't feel like,
But I don't have any problem going out doing things myself either.
yeah,
I need it sometimes actually too. I like a little solitude too, and go out and put some music on and go for a walk. So no, I don't expect you to do anything like that. And you've actually got me to slow down and become more comfortable being at home more often
mm,
than instead of just running all the time, running myself ragged like I was doing. So I
well,
appreciate that too.
no, I think we work well in that, in that way. And I think it's a really good combination. And I look forward to, like we were saying, these episodes are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be a little longer so that we can share with you the various ways that, either we individually, right, are going about doing things and, um, finding the magic after alcohol or together. Because, the reality is, and I think I've shared this before on the episodes, and if not, then I'm sure it'll come up again. But addiction tries to isolate us. It loves to get us alone, because if it can get us alone and isolated, it can overcome us, and it can, become an obsession for us. It's not just the addiction, but it is everything to us at that particular point. And so I think us talking about and sharing how we've been able to find it together or with other people,
Yeah.
right? So I'm curious, what's one of the things that you love to do now that maybe you didn't do?
Um, Walking. I love to walk. I love to. I enjoyed. I need a lot of like visual stimulation now. I like to go for my walks and put some music on and just go out and be around people and see everything, see all the beautiful things, see people. Um, and when I'm home, I like to paint, which I did not do before I stopped drinking. I started that um, directly after I, I had this sad basement I used to sit in, and I cleared all that out and kind of filled it with color and made that my safe space when I was home. Um, and it was a beautiful little space. And I would sit down there when I was home, and like that, the idle hands started kicking in. I would go down there and it would give me something to focus on. So those are my two things I really love. And the other one, when we're home, is I love to play music,
Mm.
which I played guitar when I was a kid. And Jen here, um, my my ex, it was an annoyance to hear the music, I think, and I always felt like I had to play very quietly, and she did not enjoy it. So Jen really enjoys it. So she even put up places for me to hang all my instruments in the living room, and I have an amplifier there, and she'll sit and read or do whatever, and I'll play, and I don't have to worry about that. And it's the opposite. Like she'll comment on it and how it sounded, and so that's very beautiful too.
Mm.
It's a like one of my best creative outlets now. I play like I never could never play before, and that's a huge creative outlet. When I don't quite feel like painting, it's like an instant release of my day by doing that. So those are the things that I love the most.
I love it. I think, it's interesting because as you're, sharing, I'm kind of asking like myself. And, I'm not only a recovering alcoholic, I'm a recovering workaholic. Like I've literally, avoided being in the present both through alcohol, and work, for much of my life. And so, I kind of like paused for a second. I went, oh my God, is that what I'm going to say? Right? Like, what is it? But I realized that, I got these picture of if you were to be around I don't even know how many sketch pads, right? I really don't, these like multimedia pads, and
There's a lot.
yeah, probably like 7, 8, 10 maybe of them. And that's just the blue covered ones, let alone those other ones that I've got. And so, even if, I've been building a business for the last 5 years since I've been in recovery. So my mind would just start going to whatever it is that I might be creating. It might be new product. It might be, a way to set something up, a way to solve a problem. And so for me, uh, it's it is still addressing that kind of idle hands in a way that feeds me, right? And I don't mean like
Mhm.
feed from a literal, but like it's feeding some type of creative spirit for me
Yeah,
as well. And sometimes it is just sketching or pulling cards. I mean, I've spent plenty of time pulling out the cards and doing various different divination or in things of that nature. I love to cook too.
yeah, you're a good cook too.
So spending time putting together meal plans or grocery lists of things that I want to buy so that I can make a certain meal or thing of that nature. Um and I think last but not least, that's only I've only been able to pick this up this year as I've stepped out of corporate, but reading. I love to read. Ever since I was a child, I was a ferocious reader. And being able to pick up, I committed to, once I left corporate, back in April, I committed to, not stop reading all the like, don't get me wrong, I still have magical and witchy books, and I still have like the personal development books and all of that kind of stuff, but picking up fiction again
Yeah, just enjoying a good story.
and being able to get lost. Yeah. That to me has been a really, really beautiful thing. Hard sometimes because you know, focus can be an issue, just as much as hyper focus can be. But yeah, I really love to be able to do that. And these are things just on an individual basis.
Yeah. I miss those afternoons, you in the hammock out in the garage
Mm,
reading and me painting out there. It's been so cold. So we're confined to the house a little bit, but
yeah, the
yeah,
cold
that's
weather makes things a little bit more difficult, and the holidays. I mean, let's be real. The holidays have been going on for the last 6 weeks.
yeah. It's just a little longer than that. It's the way they run out, stretch out now.
Yeah, well, I've often said, and I think in some of the podcasts when I've talked about holidays the last couple of times, they basically for me begin at Samhain, at
Mhm.
Halloween, right? So you've got almost 2 months of this like holiday energetic, and yeah, they can be tough. They can be tough, and the cold does not aid in that. For
Yeah.
those of you that are in the north, in the colder areas, I'm sure you feel us. I look forward to the warmer days. Thank goodness the days are getting longer again.
Mhm.
Um, but we do have something really interesting that we have been doing together, and I thought it would be a really good first thing for us to share and talk about. Um, and in case you haven't been paying attention, the last couple of episodes, I shouldn't say that just the last couple of, the last 12-ish episodes, I've been introducing and talking about the witch's 13 steps to recovery. And the one step that we had not yet covered was step 13. And so if you are on, I'm just going to share this real quickly because if you are on catching this on YouTube, you're going to be able to see this. But this is it, right? Step 13 is healing the universe, right? So I engage in spell work and rituals that send energy to heal the collective, releasing the universe from the pain and suffering brought by addiction. Um, and Dan, I've talked to you about what the actual like AA step 13 is, right?
Yeah,
Um, for those of you that
the
have
12th in AA though, right?
no, it's this, there's a 13. There's a
Okay.
13. So I'll elaborate on this just to make sure that we're all on the same page because this is very intentional. I was probably, I don't even know, it was a couple of weeks into AA for the first time, and somebody had pulled me aside and made a comment about the 13th step. And I said, someone was 13th stepping her is how it was referred.
Mm.
And I said, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? And basically they use that as a way to indicate that there is an old timer in the program that is predatorily approaching a newer individual in the program.
Hmm.
They're 13th stepping them, using their status as being in recovery for an extended period of time to take advantage of somebody that was newer in their recovery, befriend them,
And wanting to
date
date them.
very often. Yep.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that's what they called it.
Yeah.
I know that's a thing and it's very frowned upon,
Oh yeah.
but I didn't know it was referred to as the 13th step.
Yeah. It's a very derogatory use of the step 13.
Mm.
And for me, not everybody there in the program knew and understood that I was a witch, but I'm a witch. I've been a witch for a long time. Even if I wasn't out of the broom closet at that particular time, it bothered me. It bothered me a lot because the number 13 for a witch has very significant purposes. If you've ever worked with Hecate, you're going to know that that's one of the numbers that indicates her. There are 13 moon cycles throughout the year. It has a lot of witches believe that Friday the 13th is a very powerful and magical day. So yeah, it really, from a dark goddess perspective, it pissed me off.
Yeah, it's really dark.
It pissed me off. And so when I was rewriting the steps, for a witch, I decided to take back that 13th step. And what better way to do it than to do it, right after it's the same similar 12 step that we're out there helping other individuals, other witches. But this step 13 is literally healing the collective, right? It's doing intentional ritual or spell work to specifically heal the collective, heal the universe, heal that energetic current that exists, in so many of our communities. And by communities, I don't just even mean just the folks that you directly surround yourself, but the people that are surrounding you, right? And so, yeah, we've got the 13th step, and I'm going to go ahead and take it back to just us again. I gosh, here's this like beautiful story. I had decided that I was going to conduct my first ritual for this. If you remember correctly, at a event that Dan and I had participated in yearly for at least a year. I think I'd been 2 years, and you did it with me the year before. There was this nonprofit event, and they agreed that I could conduct a ritual at the event. And so I told them it would be a community-based ritual. I didn't know what it was going to be at that time, and as the summer progressed, because it was in September, Spirit finally talked to me and said, "Do it as the 13th step." And I was shocked, shocked when I shared it with the organizers and said, "Hey, here's the community ritual, and this is what it's going to be about, and we're going to, combat addiction." And don't get me wrong, it's nothing of that nature was going to be like it would have been very beautiful. There's nothing obvious in the ritual itself that it's around addiction, except, kind of talking about combating it. And they told me they weren't comfortable with it. Do you remember that?
Hmm. Yeah, I was shocked myself.
Yeah. Told
Very,
me
very shocked.
told me they were not comfortable with that. Um,
I think everybody out there has someone in their life that they're like hurting watching them suffer with addiction. And I didn't understand that, why they wouldn't want to participate in that. It was very kind of shocking to me.
um, I think the the truth that I came to is that it gets too close, right? Even though that everybody may have somebody they know, sometimes that person that they know is themselves.
Yeah, it would have been polarizing for somebody that was involved.
Yeah, that wasn't. So, I not positive, but I do think it was too uncomfortable for them to think about, you know, for whatever reason. It brought a shadow out in them that they weren't ready to face. But with every dark cloud, there becomes a silver lining. And I I will tell you, this is another one of those examples where, everything happens for a reason, because old, still not in recovery, I don't even want to say just alcoholic, sunshine, just not having done the work that I've had. Once that happened, I would have been destroyed, right? I would have been destroyed, I'd have looked at it and been like, what are you talking about? I would have gotten, right? I was upset, but I would have gotten angry.
Yeah.
Right. And instead, I made a commitment in life, I don't know, 2 years ago in my recovery, to start looking at things with curiosity. So I wondered, wow, if I can't do it there, then
Yeah,
what?
you handled it very well. You kind of just, okay, moving on. Let's find a new spot,
Yeah. What does the universe have for me if that's not the place that I'm supposed to be?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we, I happened across a friend that was sharing on Facebook that their girlfriend had an Airbnb for rent. It's a beautiful property. And I, by happenstance, decided to reach out and talk to them and asked whether or not they would be willing to do a non-monetary exchange for use of the property for the ritual. Yes, was, I don't even know that it was like there was a hesitation at all. She was um, absolutely willing, absolutely excited to do the exchange, and saw purpose in it, saw reason for it. Um, and so lo and behold, we conducted our very first community ritual. And by we, yes, I may have led it, but Dan was heavily involved, and will continue to be involved in these. But why don't you share? Like, I love the story on the property. Share a little bit about this property and
Yeah,
what we
this
discovered.
property, it's an older large home in Detroit. Um, kind of down close to the river near the Ambassador Bridge here, which is kind of the bridge that bridges Detroit to Canada. And in the shadow of this hotel in the Detroit area here called the Yorba Hotel, which is, we were all like, whoa, that's the White Stripes did a song about this hotel. And the one line that always gets me is, um, all they got inside is vacancy, because it's very tied to addiction. And there's a lot of troubled souls in that hotel, and it's like directly behind the house. And we were just like, whoa, this is like so perfect for what we're doing.
We even found out that they run an AA meeting.
Yeah, they have an AA meeting there that happened to fall on one of the nights of the
Yeah.
one of the last rituals we did.
So it's, Detroit has a very, rough history. Any major city is going to have a history of addiction that runs through it at some point. We discovered that this house, like we had no clue at when we agreed to, when we agreed to the exchange, that this house was like literally in the very vicinity of this, rich historied hotel of just, you start reading some stories about it, and the stories literally talk about addiction. And I'll even share more. We find out that more than one individual has passed away in the house. One of the individuals that passed away in the house passed away from lung cancer that was because of cigarette addiction, right? And yeah, so we've been conducting these rituals, and they're open to the public. And that to me, I think is like, I'm committed to it. I'm committed and I every now and again I have this like thought of, because they're not cheap. It's not, even though I get the property, right? We're still providing supplies. We're still providing, the beverages. We do it potluck style, so that actually does reduce some of the cost. So everybody can kind of bring a dish, but you still got to have the paper products and all of that kind of stuff. So it's still money out of the pocket. But it has been probably one of the most beautiful things uh, that I have led from a magical ritual
Myself
perspective.
too.
Um, you want to tell what's your experience with it? What you like. Tell a little bit about the piece that you bring to the table with this, because I don't. I could share, but I think
Yeah, so what we did on the first few, the last one we did a little differently. It was the first few, I'm a painter, as I mentioned, and um I led a painting, just kind of bringing out, kind of channel out some energies around addiction and healing. And we would have everyone come up to the come up to the canvas and add whatever they wanted to add to it. And then we had a fire in the yard, and we would take it out there and burn it to release it, and bring the healing from everybody's collective on that. We've had some lovely folks show up. New folks will show up to each one. We had a couple of repeats too. Um, Folks that have been struggling and looking for a community outside of AA that, you know, um, with similar beliefs, and didn't feel like they felt fit in at AA and some other groups. So
show the last one.
yeah, show some.
That's the one we did for Samhain. And you're correct. We did this last one because it's hard to have a full fire, in the middle of winter, because it's cold, and keeping a fire stoked and burning, and then asking people to go outside into the cold is a little bit rough.
Yeah.
So we did do it a little bit different. Still involved fire, but yeah, I love this because, as Dan shared, and even as we were talking about, one of our, I think both of our ways of stepping into and staying in recovery has been embracing our creative energy and our creative spirit. And so this to me allows that, these rituals will always, I don't care if I ever have a flavor that's different, there's always going to be a creative aspect to it every single time. Um, and to watch people, you know, some of these are folks that I've known, some of these folks are strangers, still be willing to step up and to connect and to share and to talk about their story, whether it's a struggle that they currently have or a victory that they're, expressing, is just
It was beautiful.
incredibly
And I don't know
beautiful.
that some of them would have had a place to do that. Some of them were very um, apprehensive to go to AA, and they found some community there. It was very beautiful, and everybody's always shared. Everybody that shows up has
Yeah.
shared. Um,
I think what two things that have surprised me the most about it is, we do open it to the public. So, anybody is able to come and join. And we have had folks, just from the general public have shown up and brought dishes to share, right? They have literally done the potluck. I love the fact that these last two, William and Abby,
yeah,
right? We've got,
yeah. William's my son, and Abby is Jen's niece.
yeah, so these youth, these younger individuals, still in their teenage years, able to be there and to be present and to witness the healing that, Dan and I are a part of, but they also get to be a part of.
They also shared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was very beautiful. My son's very introverted, and it's not his comfort zone, but he shared also. It was very beautiful. I was proud of him, and
Hmm.
I'm glad to have him there. He's been to all of them now, right?
I don't think he went to the first one. I don't think we had him
Yeah,
at the
that's
very
right.
first one,
That's right.
but he has been to the last two, and I don't put it besides him as long as something else isn't going on with him.
Yeah,
And I'm hoping at one point that it'll work out that Anna's able to join.
yeah.
Because I do think and that's why I think I love these rituals is because it's literally we call them awakening hope, a community ritual to combat addiction. Because to me, that's what we're trying to do there is awaken hope for a different world.
Mm.
Awaken hope for a different world if you are struggling with addiction, that you can step out of it, or awakening the hope. God, I don't know how much I've talked with you about this one, Dan, but how, the other thing in the Facebook groups, I'll often see in the sober groups that whole board concept, right?
Mhm.
What do I do now? But in a witchy groups that I'm in, I will often see the commentary around, I know someone, my son, my daughter, my partner is struggling with addiction. What can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do? And you want to know what everybody keeps telling them?
Hmm.
There's nothing you can do for them.
It's not
They've
true.
got to they've got to want it for themselves. They've got to want, and I don't disagree with that concept.
You do have to want it, but it's not true that there's nothing you can do.
Oh God. I mean, that's part of the point of these rituals is, being able to awaken the hope in them, right? Being able to pray for them to find the courage that they need, right? There are,
Just finding community too,
yeah,
is
encouraging them.
huge.
Yeah. But it's heartbreaking to see so many people, and I've been there, I know you have experience not just with your own addiction, but you've witnessed addiction in your family,
Oh yeah, a lot.
right?
A lot.
And feeling helpless,
Yeah.
feeling like there's nothing that you can do. You just got to sit there and wait. I can't do it.
No.
I can't do it. You know, I prayed every day for my partner before who succumbed to his own addiction and passed away almost 2 years ago because of it. But I did. I prayed that he would find the courage that he needed to take steps towards a better life. It didn't end up that way, but there was something that I could do.
Yeah.
I don't believe in preaching the belief of helplessness, that you can't help in some way, shape, or
I
form.
think a lot of folks are afraid to speak up to their family too. Um, Nobody ever approached me.
I mean,
I mean, I kept it. I tried to keep it secret too how much I was drinking. I did too. Like my coworkers, nobody really knew. Um, maybe a couple, but there were definitely signs that I was losing control. And
yeah, well, I don't know about your family, but I know even for me, it wasn't just my family. My dad's an alcoholic. But even my friends, like that was the culture of my family and my friends,
mhm,
right? My family, all drinkers.
yeah,
I had my grandfather who's been passed away for a long time. He was a recovering alcoholic. And then I had one uncle, right? One other uncle. But everybody else drank.
yeah,
And my cousins and I, when we came of age, we drank. That was the thing. Like everybody,
continuing the cycle.
yeah. And then as far as my friends, most of my friends prior to me getting sober and stepping into recovery were all partiers.
Yeah,
I have so many memories, and I don't think you have these. I have so many memories of getting drunk around my friends' kids.
yeah.
Like all of us just getting
I have
shit
memories of
faced.
getting drunk around my own kids, which is very hard.
Hard, hard, and so no, nobody said anything because for them to say anything, they've got to look at their own
Yeah,
shit.
it shines a light on their problem too. And there's that piece of misery loves company.
Oh my.
That's a big piece of it too. Like if they stop, Who am I going to drink with? Or
Yep.
am I going to have to stop? Oh,
Yeah.
scary.
That's why, I still I love the 13th step so much. I love these rituals that we're doing because it does, I 100% believe that, if you love someone, whether that someone is you, right? Or you're trying to find love for, or somebody that's in your family, a friend, a coworker, I don't care who it is, you can, I think folks in a religious perspective would say pray for them to find that courage. But as a fucking witch, as a person that believes in magic, you can do spell, you can do ritual,
Yeah. In
right?
addition to the prayers,
Mm-hmm.
put something out there. Do everything you can.
Yeah. We have so Dan, it's really beautiful because he leads these, he steps up, he'll start the canvas, he'll put whatever he, is called to on the canvas. And as he described, everybody's able to step up and add to it. And, I give them a choice. People are given a choice that they can just paint, they can just talk, or they can paint and talk, but they've got to do something. Um, you know, I think painting is easy if you're introverted. You can just put some dots on. You can see there's just some dots on the paper, and
Yeah, it
you know,
doesn't need to be a masterpiece.
no,
It just needs the intention and the release that they feel from putting that out there.
yep. Um, and then we burn it. That I think to me has been one of the most, powerful experiences is watching. I call, I do the invocation, I call forward at that particular point. Um, Depending upon, we do them on the pagan holidays, the holiday that it is will, set the intentions of specifically like the Samhain we obviously did around trying to break ancestral kind of curses around addiction. For Yule, we actually reached in and worked with the inner child. Um, and Yeah, we burn it. We literally stand there. And we've also been very blessed because I have a dear friend that's a music therapist and has a beautiful instrument collection. And we've drummed to it being released. Um, it'll be real interesting to do on in June when it's
Mhm.
still light out,
Yeah, yeah,
because it's been dark these all of these times
yeah.
by the time. So it'll be interesting to do for June, even June and August. But it's been incredible, and I'm grateful that you've done it with me. I
I'm
really am.
grateful that I'm involved. It gives me purpose to do these events.
Yep. Well, that's the 13th step is, doing this. I don't, it's interesting. And I think people that like truly embrace their path of recovery start to get this, that, in order for us to really be in that state, it's hard to avoid this like compulsion to help spread the
Yeah.
message.
For me, it's hard to watch somebody
Oh,
struggling, and I can't just sit back and watch them. I can't. I have to at least say something and show them a different way if I can,
mm,
if they're willing to listen.
yeah.
It's painful to watch somebody just going down that path and not knowing what to do. It's really hard.
Hmm. Well, my dear, we are about at the time that I'd said. So, anything else you want to share? Anything else rattling around in your head today?
Um, I don't think so. This is really beautiful. I love doing it. I love talking to you like this.
I think it'll be good for everyone listening, but I think it'll be a really beautiful thing to share with
Yeah,
you.
it'll be
So,
beautiful for us. I'm looking forward to getting out and doing some things with you too and doing these. I think it'll
hmm
be an interesting way to do it.
I think the DIA would be a good one.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good start. The
Yeah.
DIA is, for those listening, is the Art Institute of Detroit here. And it's also my favorite place on earth. I love to go there. Um, I try and go once a week. I put some music on and just wander and um, get inspiration and try and connect with all the art in there and all the artifacts from different
Oh,
religions, and it's such a beautiful place, and I think it'll be a lot of fun
yeah.
to do one of these there.
I think we've got a whole bunch we can do that day when we head out. So
Yeah,
it'll be really lovely. Um, and the shorter episodes, I always kind of have a little bit of a tidbit at the tail end of like, why do we share all of this with you? And I just want to reiterate this again here today. We're sharing this is because there is magic after alcohol, right? It just takes you to be willing to find it and to live it.
yeah. See life, how much life is worth living
Oh,
when you stop. I sure did. That was my experience. Yeah,
yeah.
I love life now, and I didn't so much before.
I adore that and I love life with you.
Nobody liked you too.
For anybody that is listening and you are interested and you're in the Metro Detroit area or you're willing to drive to the Metro Detroit area, we do these free community rituals every one of the pagan holidays. So you can always reach out and connect. And if you're interested in doing one of these rituals in your area because you are compelled to do a 13th step, please feel free to reach out and I'm happy to provide you some guidance on how you might be able to do that.
Mhm. It would be
So,
really lovely.
yeah, that would be really lovely. So
That's the goal and the hope.
that I, the day that happens, I think I'm just gonna sing from the mountaintops and just, celebrate how beautiful life is to be able to share that. So I love this and I love doing this. So if you're good, I'm good, Dan.
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, hey everyone, thank you for tuning in again. I'm going to be alternating these longer episodes and then my shorter ones pretty much every other week. So until next time, our dear friends, much love from Dan and I to all of you.
Thank you, everybody. Beautiful week.
Yeah.
Nice. That was good.
It was.
How'd it go?